Here we go.
From the 305 to the 303, this is TCSP. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Brian and the Casually Serious Band.
All right, Internet. You one of the best and you got it. The hottest podcast in the world, TCSP.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just taking a couple seconds here, and we'll invite the co-hosts in. Have yourself a hot tea or a fried pickle, whatever it is you like. We'll be right with you. All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Casually Serious Podcast, the Mixtape, Record Stash Revisit, KISS, 1976 to 1977. I think I got that right. And if I didn't, what the hell? Who cares, right? Thank you so much to you for you folks for coming in, tuning in. Bobby Mac, Brian Smith here right away. Brian Smith, this seems like a habit, and I can dig it. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, dude. Today we are going through the, I guess, definitely one of my, if not, my favorite part of the KISS catalog right now. We're going 1976 to 1977. We have got 3 studio albums that came out during that time, and we've got 1 live album that changed my friggin' life. I don't really know what I would have done without it, but give me 1 second. You know, There's a huge chance right now, ladies and gentlemen, that I did not give the link to my co-host. Give me 1 second, guys. Talk amongst yourselves while I throw myself in throw my friend in electronic mail. At any rate, this is definitely my favorite part of the KISS catalog. I know there's a lot of favorites. When you ask some of the older KISS fans, some of them might actually go back to the very beginning, the stuff that we covered last week. I'm going to go on record as saying that is definitely not my favorite stuff. What we are covering right now is my favorite stuff. You know, when I first stumbled upon KISS, and I guess I could say stumble, but my brothers who turned me on to this band. It was an in-house thing. I wasn't seeing a lot of their stuff in the magazines I was reading as a young person. So by the time I was maybe 5, 6, 7 years old, my brother was already definitely getting me into some KISS stuff. And the first album I was actually introduced to was Kiss Alive 2. And that just happens to be part of what we got going on here. So, you know, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in my co-host. I think he showed up. From what I heard, you know, his limo driver was all screwed up on fentanyl or something like that. I don't know what the deal is. The guy gets driven around town because he refuses to drive because he's a fucking rock star. That's just the way he is. But let's bring him on right now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Stony Grantham. Dude.
What
is up?
I don't drive because I'm not capable any longer. No.
I think what happened was Stony had a vehicle named Goldie, I think, and it was the name on that one. And after that car went away, he just refused to drive ever again.
This is true. How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing today, Stony?
Good, man. I'm running on fumes, but we're here.
But America. If you're not running on fumes, you're living in another country, buddy. That's just the way it goes.
That's true.
How's your week started off, man?
It's chaotic, man, and but hey, we're here, and let's talk about KISS, right?
We're going to talk about KISS, I think. It's definitely going to be one of the things that we're going to talk about today. Our buddy Stony Grantham says that he needs a link. I went ahead and did that for everybody who was wondering. I think by the time I saw your text, it had clicked in my head that I probably hadn't sent you the link to the show yet. So
I was knocking, but nobody was answering the door, man.
Yeah, man. Dave's not here, man. He's not here, dude.
Well, better late than never, and we've got appropriate pint glass tonight.
I got my Casually Serious coffee mug.
There you are.
So yeah, I'm excited. I was telling the viewers before your limo driver kicked you out of the limo that this is by far my favorite part of the KISS catalog, my favorite part of the KISS story, the KISS era, the KISS costumes, and when I was first introduced to KISS, it was because of one of the albums we're about to cover here, and I know the same thing goes for you, Stony. So, I guess what the hell? Let's just jump in right now and get it started, dude.
Right on.
Destroyer. Let me tell you, man. I think I was talking to you about this last week, and this is the album for some reason, and this happened to me way late in my KISS life. Destroyer was something I had heard a lot growing up, and definitely was in major rotation. But sometime I think around maybe Lick It Up, I started going back and listening to it a little bit more, and then I guess maybe that kind of stamped it in my life as the sound of the 70s. Because whenever I hear songs from that album, I just think of the 70s, and not in the way I think of, not in like a Dazed and Confused kind of way, even though it's an amazing movie. It's just something about that sound. It's the production on it, as we both know, is extremely anthemic and huge and big, and pianos are added, and it's otherworldly. But there's just, besides the songs, man, the overall sound and feeling of that album to me was always like the 70s, and I can always put it on and travel back in time to when I was about 5 or 6 and listen to this, man.
Well, listening to you, you were truly a live album kid in the 70s, weren't you? Obviously Alive 2 and Alive. So, because how did you avoid Destroyer? That's, it's like avoiding oxygen in the 70s almost.
It's actually, I don't know. I think again, it was Alive 2 from the beginning, and then I pedaled backwards. Now I don't really know. I can't remember if I went all the way to the debut and then worked my way up, or if I trickled backwards. All I know is that if I was seeking out original versions of the songs I had heard on Alive and Alive 2, it was probably only the albums that those songs were on that I was listening to. And then started diving in a little bit deeper as I started getting like that KISS knowledge you get when you start getting real proud about all the shit you know about KISS.
When you
that's when I started listening to it.
That's awesome, man. I was just thinking that I was thinking about Destroyer earlier, and I was thinking you don't really think in terms. I don't think I've never heard anybody else talk about this so much either. Alive's recorded on the Dress to Kill tour, and so there's this massive, chasm from, or what would you, an evolution? It's beyond an evolution. If you look at, because you had Alive from Dress to Kill tour, if you go from Dress to Kill over here to Destroyer, that's a massive shift in sound and style, and it's no wonder that their original hardcore fan base kind of flipped out and freaked out on this on Destroyer, coming in 76, because it is night and day from Dress to Kill, which is what, again, the Alive album was recorded on the Dress to Kill tour, in 75. So they had a lot of negativity as far as fans went when Destroyer came out. But I was there. I mean, I was not there the day it came out as far as, purchasing it. But I got it pretty early on, and it, unlike you were saying, how I had to go, I didn't have to go really, really back to Destroyer at all. I liked it. Again, I was, 12 years old when I got it. So what's not to like, the cover.
Oh, dude. Even the back is badass.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
You know what I mean? Like it leaves you wondering, there is absolutely no other. I mean, I don't know, man. It's insane. They always gave you this feeling that they were, obviously otherworldly, and they were not of this earth, and they sold the shit out of it very well. They were wonderful at it. There's just something about that album and that album cover that is just, I don't know, man. The spikes on his left hand and the left and right hand, like that's something I noticed. I was kind of hoping that would be in concerts. That really odd tooth spike that's coming off his raised boot, Gene's raised boot. That's a very odd little thing. I was wondering, what's that? That's got to be cutting into Ace's leg at some point. But I was fascinated by this, man. As a kid, like you said, I mean, it's crazy. And as I got older, I realized, like you just said, what a freaking leap of not. I mean, forget. I mean, I guess they were already talented, but what they did was they found Kiss, and they found exactly what Kiss was, and they found out how to funnel writing into it. But not only that, the fucking stage production and their live sound was insane, dude. What a massive jump, dude. Like, you're right, man. I don't really quite understand exactly how it happened or why it happened, but I definitely don't care.
Well, no, let's face it. It was Ezrin, almost. I had to be. A lot of that was Ezrin, Bob Ezrin, the producer, right?
Yeah.
And I think Kiss wanted to capitalize so bad on Alive at the time that they basically just went for it, and his direction. I mean, it was 100% almost. They didn't question hardly anything during the making of Destroyer.
Yeah, and they could have.
Yeah, they could have, gone against the grain with him, but they were reporting to camp, and yes, sir, no, sir, and how high, not to age was high, probably, but
yeah, I think you're right. On top of it, I think the fan reaction is a natural fan reaction, sort of the same way I had and I hate to make the comparison, but I can only do it. The feeling I almost got when I listened to the Black Album as opposed to anything previous from Metallica, there was a maturity to that album. There's a maturity to the sound, whether be it good or bad, there's a maturity to it, an evolution. And that sound on Destroyer was an evolution and a maturity and a honing of their sound and the craft and of what we would know to be Kiss from there on out, other than Dynasty, which, has a few tracks on it. But it's kind of, it's massive.
Destroyer took a little while to catch on. Also, people don't really realize that looking back in just looking back in time. Destroyer is this huge success, and there's nothing left to be said. But that's really not the truth. By the time Beth was flipped over and played on the B side of that single, Detroit Rock single, they weren't really. I mean, they were selling because they had exploded with Alive. A lot better than they had been. But Destroyer didn't really take off into that second gear till Beth, man. Strange enough,
Beth sent it, man. Stratosphere, dude. It's such a hilarious thing to think about too. That their biggest hit ever was basically written and produced, written and performed by someone they consider to be the most unreliable band member they have ever worked with, the most inept drummer in the world, according to GNP. It's kind of crazy, man.
Oh, you mean, right?
Yeah, I mean,
not to mention that what you just did, but he also wrote the less, probably the least amount of songs in Kiss. So he wasn't a prolific writer, like you're saying. They weren't real happy with him by and large, here and there. I think early on, they were happy with Peter Criss.
Yeah.
He had some. He was pretty bombastic and pretty hard hitting when he was younger.
Right.
I don't know what was going on with him around Destroyer time, but well, it really wasn't Peter's song either. It was half of it at least was Stan, or let's put it this way: there's Peter Criss,
drop the P word,
Stan Pendage, and then Bob Ezrin takes it to a completely different, planet.
Right.
So I don't know how close the resulting Beth was to Beck,
right.
B-E-K or whatever,
For those who don't know, it was originally B-E-C-K Beck, and they decided that might not be the greatest thing in the world because he sounded already too much like Rod Stewart, and Rod Stewart was sort of already known at the time to be sort of I guess we wouldn't say let's just say bi, and he kind of he played on both teams, and I guess Kiss did not want to be confused with that, but I remember hearing a lot of stuff about that. That was sort of like one of the big Kiss facts I think I learned was that Beth was Beck, and I remember hearing Beck much later, right around the time I think I pressed you a bunch of Wicked Lester CDs from my burn from LimeWire, but I remember hearing some of that and saying, "Damn, that's crazy." Let's check some of this out real quick. How about we look at this?
And the midnight fun, it's so bad. Going to school, so far from me. And the dirty things that we've done. I'm the king of the nighttime world. And you're my and I queen. I'm the king of the nighttime world. Come, live the secret.
Man,
pretty cool.
That
might be my favorite album song on the album, man.
And it's not, is it theirs or is it a cover?
Oh, it's a cover.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I heard something recently and I was like, I don't know if that's real or if someone made that, because at this point I don't trust anything I see on the internet. But yeah, I think because that original song is a completely different tempo from beginning to end. The breakdown on the Kiss song, ding 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 ding, is throughout the whole entire original version, which is very hard to get used to at first. But
I mean, I think Kiss did it way better. I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember the band that they weren't very successful that wrote it and recorded it earlier in the 70s. But I don't know. I can't remember the name of the band. But I did listen to it myself too and thought, well, you can hear it. I mean, it's the same song, but I think Kiss really did it much better. And I'm glad they did, because it's a great song, great Kiss song. Also,
Yeah, it's definitely, it became one of my favorites later. I don't know. I don't know what it is about what I loved about Kiss. I think maybe I was just always sort of wanted something crazy and aggressive, and that's definitely rock and roll boppy. And but when I heard live versions of it, and when I saw it played on the reunion tour, I was already in love with it, man. It's the album itself is like I said, the production is crazy, man. And like you said, it was a big departure from what people had kind of listened to and expected from Kiss. The rawness and the garage band of it all had sort of gone away, which is fine with me, if I'm being honest. This growth is insane. King of the Nighttime, obviously God of Thunder, Gene's version. Yeah. And then we get to the old number 4, Great Expectations, which, if I remember correctly, is just another wonderfully misogynistic song posed as basically saying to the girl, you want to get with me because you have great expectations. At least that's what I remember. And I completely forgot Paul sang on it.
That's true, but Gene does. Oh yeah, don't they share that, dude?
They do, man. They do. It's very weird. I went back and listened to it again and completely forgot that Paul was singing on it. I was just already very mad at Gene. Like, what were you doing? But then
I know
there's got to be one.
I've heard or Kiss fans online, a lot of them hate it, and a lot of them actually surprisingly dig it. A lot of them like it. So I've softened on it. When I was a kid, I would skip it, basically, and go straight to Flamin' Youth on side B. That's how old I am. I had to flip to get to side B, but
with your hand.
Yeah, yeah. So, but as I got older, I kind of softened on it. I'll listen to it, and usually not skip that track. It's got a weird certain charm to it. I think it rubbed people the wrong way though at the time.
Probably.
I mean, you didn't need if you already had Beth on that album, you really didn't need that song.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. So what's your favorite track off of it?
Man, it's probably between King of the Nighttime World and Do You Love Me? Probably. I kind of dig Sweet Pain and Flamin'. I like almost all the album. Shout It Out Loud is on there, for God's sake.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And then they nail that into our head after a while. But you're
like your second Rock and Roll All Night. It's
100%.
Boom, right down the chute. Another anthem.
They certainly used it massively during the Alive Worldwide reunion tour thing. They were going for Anthem. They probably just didn't want to do Rock and Roll All Night. They really hit Shout It Out Loud hard for that tour. My favorite song is definitely Do You Love Me, believe it or not.
Right.
There's something about that song. I think the end with the piano because I think there's a piano and maybe like some church bell thing going on. Like it sounds like it's just so echoey and odd. It's being played underwater, the album, but like in a good way.
That very end part.
Yeah.
Right? That's even it has its own title. It's Rock and Roll Party, I think.
Oh, okay. Is that what they released? Because this is when the chorus is still going, Do you love me? All through the end, and you hear the bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, like chimes, like
and
stuff like that. Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, those are cool. I thought you were talking about that weird hidden little track at the end.
I know what you're talking about, and that sounds a lot like there's actually Great Expectations in that. If you listen to it, go through it again, it's got that like the background singing of Great Expectations is kind of through that, which is very weird.
And he's doing
Rock and Roll Party.
Paul, you can hear Paul doing like a in concert rant or speaking to the crowd, yelling.
I know.
Well, I totally misread you on that. I would have put money on it that Bob's favorite song on Destroyer when he's 12 years old or 13 would have been God of Thunder completely.
Well, I think maybe we're talking now, so I think you would have been right. At my young self probably would have picked God of Thunder, if I'm being honest, for sure. Anything that had a little bit more of an edge, and it was a Gene thing for sure. But considering this a Paul song, I really lean more towards the Gene camp in this band. It wasn't until later, because I just assumed it was Gene's band as a kid. I was like, this guy's got to be the fucking leader.
Everybody's we're probably scared of him and the rest of the guys.
Right.
And Gene calls all the shots, and which was not real. Of course, not the truth. But
and Paul disagrees, and he goes, "Star Child," and he just freaks out.
What else is off of the album that you really love, man?
Really, honestly, like I said at the top here, the whole sound is all encompassing. There's an odd echo to it. There's like I said, weird piano being played. It just kind of sounds, I don't know, man. I can't say, Detroit Rock City's awesome. King of the Nighttime World, awesome. God of Thunder, awesome. Flamin' Youth, pretty damn good. Sweet Pain, awesome. Deep Cut, Shout It Out Loud, awesome. Beth, awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's only a couple songs I don't play, and I'm not even don't.
Is awesome. So yeah, we hadn't even mentioned Detroit Rock City. It was like the elephant in the room, right?
I think as Kiss fans, hardcore Kiss fans, there's a few things that you kind of think the other Kiss fans, they already know that, so why say that?
True.
Why go over this? This is obviously, and we're also hosting a show right now, so we should definitely talk about Detroit Rock City. Well, if they did another boost to Kiss's fame was for that movie Detroit Rock City, and they had a lot of cool stuff involved in that, and Kiss saw some more film time. The first time I think they probably licensed their song to a film in quite a long time.
Just like you too. I had, I was into Kiss Alive 2 before that, right? And so when I got it and brought it home, Destroyer, that is, the whole intro with the car, the guy getting in the car and starting it up and the radio, it kind of freaked me out. I was like, "What's this? What the hell is this?"
Yeah, like maybe they accidentally made it onto the record accidentally somehow. It was,
well, all I knew was that Kiss Alive 2 doesn't start like this. What's with the car?
Yeah.
The guy pumping the gas and the radio. But it's pretty cool, At least they were trying something different, and it kind of works actually. I think,
dude, they swung and they hit pretty hard.
Yeah, they did.
Let's check out some pictures from 1976 for this tour.
Man,
actually, moving on beyond that album, but
yeah, isn't that pre?
That was it made the cut because it's an ace pick. What can I tell you?
There you go. Didn't they keep these outfits throughout Rock and Roll Over as well?
I think they did. They just didn't. They didn't switch them up,
right?
Very much.
I love that poster, man. Spirit of '76. It's classic, dude.
I had the lunchbox.
I have that poster, man, in my closet. Nice, dude.
The actual tour poster.
Classic, yeah. That stage show on Destroyer tour was incredible and complicated, and they only used it for a short time, dude.
Yeah, I think here's they
did away with it pretty quickly. They
did actually, and you know what? I can't jump the gun on this one. Yeah, it was pretty odd. It doesn't seem like it wasn't a massive picture rotation from that tour from for some reason that one. I don't know really. I like it. The stereos are.
I think it was too much. I mean,
probably
at the time, for the crew and all that stuff. Because they got rid of that Destroyer set real fast. It
was probably a haul problem, but. We move from Destroyer onto Rock and Roll Over.
Right on.
Another iconic cover. They just always nailed it. They always nail their album covers, dude. It was just so easy to do, I guess. Being with the makeup and everything, oh man,
you almost couldn't lose with the image, as we were saying the other night too. I'm sorry to pop the balloon, but I wanted to say one more thing about Destroyer.
Do it.
I had read a while back. Bob Ezrin said that he doubled all the bass lines with the low, the bass clef on a grand piano, and it makes the album sounds super orchestral, or orchestral. So.
On every song?
Yeah, dude. That's what he said. And
it makes 100% sense now, dude.
And that he had done it on Alice Cooper albums also that he worked on. And it made it sound grand and, just a lot, like I said, orchestral, man. Whereas, that's why that album sounds a lot, that's a big reason why that album sounds the way it does.
Dude, that makes so much sense, man. That's something I did not know. Thank you for that, man. That makes 100% sense because the piano is almost subliminal, if I'm being honest. Like you'll catch it only when the track is quiet enough for you to understand and catch that. And I've just heard it so many times where, especially "Do You Love Me," dude, I can hear it throughout that song very clearly. It's almost hidden on some other ones.
Barely hear it. Sometimes you're like, no, it's the bass, whatever. It's almost there as kind of just support under the bass. So like you said, it's almost subliminal,
Yeah.
It's almost not there, but it does add something to the bass guitar. I guess that would mean he'd ask Gene to play really simple lines, which, he always did anyways, usually. And
he wasn't killing it. Although that bass line for that track I just sent you from that was supposed to be on his singles with Eddie Van Halen. That's a little bit more movement from him, I think, on a song.
I think Gene's an underrated bass player anyway,
An underrated bass player and singer and at the same time kind of dude. But you're right. I think you're right. I don't know that I don't really know that a lot of the guys get a lot of credit. Paul doesn't get credit for I think we lost Stony. I don't think Paul got a lot of credit for what he did for the band. Let's see if Stony gets back in here, guys. He dropped out. Technical difficulties. He's back, ladies and gentlemen.
My bad.
You clicked out of here.
I got a rat chewing on a cord or something.
Nice. Round and round.
Sorry. What were you saying before that, Bob?
No, I was just saying how it makes complete sense, honestly. Like, and when I use the term orchestral or grand or large, that makes 100% sense what you said, and there's definitely that feeling on that record.
Probably why their existing fans kind of freaked out on it a little bit, you know.
Definitely. Why are there proper instruments in there besides electric instruments? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. But sorry, on to Rock and Roll Over.
Rock and Roll Over was another lost album in my house. I definitely had it. Don't know when we got it. As Kiss, we started getting, I guess maybe it was a money thing, but I don't know. I always seem to have all their friggin' albums, so I don't know. But starts off with a freaking killer. Talk about, those kinds of tempo changes weren't really seen a whole hell of a lot back then in Kiss catalogs. And to start off all slow and in the morning, and then boom, like it's just so good. Calling Dr. Love is another one of those that kind of changed my life, I think, too. Calling Dr. Love was definitely my favorite Kiss song for at least 10 or 15 years.
Oh, yeah, dude. I would hear that on the radio once in a while down in the valley. And not often, but I would flip the fuck out when Calling Dr. Love came on the radio down there.
And I will say,
12 years
probably
old.
the Alive 2 version of Dr. Love.
What's that?
The Alive 2 version.
No, it was always the studio. The studio.
No. For me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because that was burned in my head, and then I went back and Calling Dr. Love. What the hell?
Yeah, you know what?
I guess it's all
on the studio version. It always on the breakdown. There's it sounds like nurses on the intercom.
Yes.
I always love that, man. It's such a cool little touch, you know.
God knows they did. They were smart about it. They definitely they added showmanship to their music too somehow, which is just it doesn't make any sense how they did that, but they sure as hell did.
What's your what has to what were you referring to? I Want You is maybe your favorite song on the album, or
Making Love, probably.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's just so crunchy, dude.
So riffy, right?
It really is super riffy, dude.
Almost be any other heavy metal band in the 70s or a hard rock band that it's a great riff, dude.
I don't know that I explored this album enough as a youth. I think there was a couple on there that I liked and was like, all right, I just have more catalog to dig into and dug into it a little bit more than Rock and Roll Over for some reason.
I think the more you tell me about that is you were more like everybody else, including myself, dude. I was completely entrenched with Alive 2, Alive, and Double Platinum because why? I was 12 years old and these have 2 fucking albums in them each, you know. Why do so I was slow to go back through their catalog. Where, let's face it, the first 3 albums, you didn't even get a Kiss Army sign-up sheet, or you didn't get
right.
Plus, older studio recordings. You just got all this stuff in the double live albums, plus even, Double Platinum had again, it's a double album. You really felt that you were getting more for the buck at that age.
Right. And it was all about the experience too. People take for granted sitting down and listening to a record, album, CD, MP3. You can't do that anymore, but that's what it was. And then when you had a double album, then that was like longer you could spend. And especially the live shit.
Especially at that age, dude. Probably between Alive 2, Alive, and Double Platinum, I probably spent a fucking year just listening to those 3 albums, So,
no doubt.
Yeah, that explains why I didn't like you. I did get Destroyer, but I was long in getting Love Gun and some of the earlier stuff, Hotter Than Hell, etc. Also.
Well, let's see. Oh yeah, okay. Here's something I wanted to pop off real quick. I think this still may be part of the Destroyer era, but I don't know that we can't share this, so we have to. What? What?
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Especially awesome in 1976.
This is that was Anaheim.
Nice, dude.
1976. Yeah, the Destroyer tour. It goes on for quite a bit longer, and it was actually very impressive. A lot of his solos were sort of mixtures of his song solos thrown in there, and you could pick songs that he took them from. That one is just, if you heard it, super crunchy and odd, like it's like he's wearing extra rings on his hands.
Yeah,
because he always had that little humbucker thing.
Paul Stanley used to complain about that. Remember?
Yes.
Ace's jewelry in the recording studio.
Dude, it's money, dude. It's part of the sound now. If I don't hear it, then I know that's not Ace. When I hear the boop, those little pops on the end of it's so fucking badass, man.
Another interesting thing about Rock and Roll Over is that was kind of like Kiss's Panic record.
Because it was the second album they came out with that year.
Yeah, they were rushing around to like shit. You know, the hardcore audience is pissed off about Destroyer, and they want another rock and roll, hard rock album. And Kiss actually, was in a rush and panicking to try to get put another album out that would satiate their fans, their hardcore base. And damn it, they didn't do it. It's got some real classics on it, man.
I mean, look, this is like I said, this is definitely not the album I've spent a lot of time on, but Ladies' Room, awesome. Love 'Em and Leave 'Em, another one of those kind of swing back and forth tunes. Mr. Speed, I didn't hear a whole hell of a lot. That's a deep cut in my eyes.
I love it.
Hard Luck Woman was probably definitely, if I have to choose between Hard Luck Woman and Beth, I'm taking Hard Luck Woman all day long, dude. It's such a good song, dude.
Me too.
And I know Garth Brooks did an amazing version of it. That's great, and it kind of fits right along in the country zone without being too country. But there's a lot of cool stuff going on there, and like you said, for an album that they felt like they had to push out in order to get the fans to forget about Destroyer for some fucking reason, they managed to pack a few damn good songs on that record, man.
It might be, aside from the dark heaviness of Hotter Than Hell, which was their second album, obviously, but it might be their most rockin' record, dude, studio album released in the 70s. Because Making Love, I Want You, Calling Dr. Love, Mr. Speed. I mean, there's some it's riffing, dude,
Yeah, it is.
Finish almost. There's a couple of let ups like Baby Driver, and that's the prerequisite Peter Criss song, right?
Right.
But Ladies' Room is pretty classic, straight ahead. Like I said, 4 on the floor there, man.
In the Ladies' Room.
Take Me is excellent too, dude.
That high. Take Me.
That's a great song, actually, man. It's got an odd timing to it.
Even like I was just singing, like I can't do that very well, but the harmonies are bizarre on it, man. But it works, dude. There's just something, I don't know, man. Kiss could really do no wrong in my eyes for a very long time.
Same here, especially pre-solo albums, dude.
Yes,
and they had internal cracks, but hell, as a 12-year-old kid, I saw no cracks in their armor at all. You know?
And obviously we didn't know until later on and after the albums that certain band members weren't playing on certain parts of the albums. You know, they did a decent job of hiding. You know, their work ethic was insane. It's like any other job. You leave your personal shit at the door when you go to work, and those guys did that, man. It was fucking business, and that's really the one thing that they get shit and credit for at the same time. And I tend to lean more on giving them credit for it. They weathered a lot of storms being businessmen without being
work ethic,
emotional humans.
Work ethic was second to none, man. You get, like I've said, I had a rant. I ran on a big rant on the first episode, but nobody outworked KISS, dude, in the 70s. Those guys were insanely busy and insanely at it, day in, day out, basically, man. You know, but
they were killing it, dude.
Yeah, I think so. I love Destroyer, and you know, in hindsight, and look as we sit now, I love Destroyer, and I love Rock and Roll Over, too. It's really got some good songs on it.
It's July 28th, 1976.
Wow, dude. Sweet. That's when they did the Paul Lynde Halloween special also in 70.
Oh, no way. That's crazy, man. Paul Lynde, man. It's just, that's so fucking badass, dude. Great memories, man.
Yeah. But that actually, that had a lot of exposure for them, man, that show, believe it or not, you know.
It was perfect timing, Halloween, you know, like it was right where it needed to be, man. And as a kid who was born on, you know, the day before on Devil's Night, it was something I was not going to miss and certainly didn't miss.
Another interesting factoid is because they had Bob Ezrin on Destroyer. Well, they returned to Kramer for Rock and Roll Over, correct?
Let's take a look. Let's dive deep here because I think we'd have to.
Went back to the production chair.
I'm gonna have to squint and turn my head sideways for this one. They screwed with us on that one.
It is Eddie Kramer, but
okay.
And they recorded it in a empty theater, right? An old theater on the stage and around the theater, but an old dilapidated or at least closed theater that wasn't in function anymore. And it's, you know, they got great results, man. So a straight up rock and roll record, dude.
It definitely is a straight up rock and roll record. Rock and Roll Over. That's just so great.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, you're right. And I don't, you know what's odd though is they actually had a really good opportunity right then and there to make a great song that's called Rock and Roll Over, and they didn't make a song called Rock and Roll Over. That sounds like a fucking great KISS song. Like, I don't know, man.
Never just, you know, do it, get it done, man, or something. Maybe it sucked. Maybe there was one, and Kramer was like, "This sucks," and just call the record that. You know, I don't know. I'm just, you know, guessing. You know,
Eddie freaking Kramer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great album, and again, it was one of those that disappeared for a while, but it's an iconic picture in my head, so it never went away. Just the, you know, it's just so symmetrical, this cover, and so beautiful, and they have their own personas behind them, which I thought was smart.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get. I got that it was an angel for Paul, but I don't really know how that came to be an angel thing. I think maybe like kisses and hearts would have probably been a little bit too, a little too soft.
a little Valentine-y or something.
Now listen. Yeah, I like that.
I guess he could have put some more stars around his head or something, right?
Maybe, or then it would have looked like I don't want to look like I got punched. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like seeing stars or something. There's always something. We could shoot it down with a bunch of stuff, and with the masculinity the way it was back in '77, he didn't want to fuck with it.
That's true. I mean, he was pushing the envelope, as it were. You know,
he was big
time.
I tell the story a lot, but how I was able to get my hands on. I show this a lot. Oh, where is it?
What you got? Come on, show me that.
Ladies getting anxious.
The hour's getting late.
Oh, I think I took it out and forgot to put it back. I don't know where it is now. Damn it.
Probably not a
so
so
I got a the one and only Kiss. Well, here it is from Alive Worldwide. That's a guitar pick.
Ooh, shit, dude.
And that's actually confetti.
Oh, real Kiss confetti.
Actual Kiss confetti that I got from being at the front row, that's how everyone was on the train on the way home. Like, oh, you were in the front row, you got confetti on you, but
probably they didn't beat you up for it, dude. You know?
You know what? Considering where I was, you're right.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I got that because Paul Stanley put it in his mouth and swirled it around and flicked it at me, or maybe not even at me. But I got it. I picked it up. I think I might have. It might have been intended for a lady, and I did not let that lady get it.
You knocked her down and grabbed the pick.
But let me tell you, there was it was very God, and I don't want to fucking sound like an asshole here, but it was just I didn't make a lot of eye contact with Paul. and listen, there's no reason for it because for most of the show I was like this. At Gene, it was like he was 90 feet above me, and now that I when I look at the footage because I'm able to see the footage from it, I realized that the show wasn't exactly as big as I thought it was. But there was just something about being in the front row and just being I was just 100% in awe of
I'm sure
Gene.
Part of me was conflicted about actually touching it after it had been in his mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, you said it wasn't as big as you thought as far as the show or the production. I think it's because we all pumped it up so huge in our brain, in our minds, in the 70s that by the time we actually saw Kiss, it was like, oh, it's kind of like everybody else, in a way. As far as
maybe,
lighting, structure and all that kind of stuff, stress.
So I'll just show it really quick. This is the first Kiss concert I ever went to, the actual show. Back in the Miami Groove, we love you people. What do you mean, you people? So this is the stage. As you can see, it's really nothing. There's no pyro. And so here's the problem I have with it all was after they did the unplugged thing, Gene's famous words were, we're going to show the little kids exactly how to do it. And we're going to bring everything. We're going to blow everything up. We're going to explode everything. I don't think there were pyrotechnics at that concert. And as much as I love the idea now, I think back then I was expecting the lights and the staircase and just something from the era. And I didn't get it. It was a stripped down version of that tour. And, I was expecting more, but it didn't take anything away from it for me.
I'm glad you brought that up, dude, because that's 96, right?
Yes.
I was kind of disappointed in their stage too, because I always thought Kiss, first of all, looks way cooler when there's like fog, and Gene's creeping around in thick fog. And again, like I wanted to see stairs on the side of the drum kit, and it seemed kind of big and empty to me, and too clear. There was no fog, no 70s fog, nothing lurking around. In the 70s, it seemed that there was a bigger creep factor.
Yeah.
With Kiss. And when they, they did it big when they came back in 96, and it was cool. I enjoyed it. But, yeah, I thought it was a little sterile and just empty and big, dude, myself.
Now that I look back on it and kind of understand the relationship they had, and really how bad the tour was for Ace and Peter, at least in terms of their pride, they got crap money for it compared to Gene and Paul, obviously, but Gene and Paul put the work in the whole time. Right. I really think they said to themselves, look, man, we're going to do this, but we're not bringing $90 million worth of equipment out there, because what if Peter and Ace fuck up? And what if we shit the bed six shows in and we're, we're ripping our outfits or something. There's a bunch of stuff going on. I think they just didn't want to take the chance. And the show that you and I went to at the Alamo Dome, which I have that stub too, that production was way bigger.
Yeah,
way bigger. But sorry, we're jumping off on the wrong tangent.
You may be right, man. Who knows?
It's probably it. But we were in 76. Let's take a trip down to 1977. Love Gun.
Right on.
Another one of those pretty, I don't know, man. Love Gun's a great fucking album.
How about that? How about that cover, man?
Another one that where they're able to live up to that comic book persona that everyone loved them for. It's probably, I think I stared at this.
Oh yeah, dude.
A lot more than most Kiss albums, probably because of the heaving-breasted women in the crowd there. But
that's also, it's Ken Kelly again.
Right.
So it's the same artist that delivered Destroyer for him.
Those fucking marble pillars are so detailed and badass.
That's probably my favorite cover, dude, in the 70s, from the 70s, probably period.
It really did all of them justice. They all look like huge, massive superheroes.
Yeah.
And I mean, Ace and Peter probably don't feel very small on that one. But to me, one of the most memorable portions of this album was this.
Yes, dude.
I mean, that record sleeve, dude. I don't know what I picture. I think I might have thought it's probably on a wall somewhere, but as you can see, it's probably a graphic thing. But I was wondering, wow, how did it stick to the wall? Oh, because it's blood for sure, dude. That's the reason why. How did they get to?
In reality, they shot down right on the floor,
Right. Yes, indeed. But it's still, I'm just like, how sick is that?
I didn't get it out, but I have Love Gun vinyl with that sleeve and the gun, dude. Still,
fuck.
And I did not fish it out for the show. God damn it.
We believe you.
I hope so.
So we're going through the track list on this one, and man, so Love Gun obviously comes out right and just hits you with a machine gun, and then they kind of mellow out for "Got Love for Sale," a very trippy song.
Kind of cool,
Kind of cool, though. Very cool. I'm definitely not bagging on it. Tomorrow and Tonight, another good rocker.
Mm-hmm.
Christine 16, something that was not allowed to be spoken about somewhere after about 79 or 80. I don't think it seemed to be a very common theme, though, talking about young teenage girls in songs in the 70s. So it wasn't just Gene here.
Right.
Almost Human, super trippy. What a funky, great song.
Yeah.
Plaster Caster, Shock Me. Then She Kissed Me. I don't really talk about that a lot. I Stole Your Love and Hooligan. This album rocks ass. It is definitely one of the best fucking Kiss albums, and I can't say anything bad other than She Kissed Me. But I also have a soft spot in my heart for the original version of it. I heard it a lot as a kid from my mom, and then it's all over. It's in a very memorable scene in Goodfellas, and every time I hear the original version, I think of the Kiss version. So they did something there. So they got me there. But the album's so good.
I don't even know why they chose to not just record it, but why put it on Love Gun, dude? I don't know. I would like to know what they were thinking. They've never really talked about. I've never heard them talk about them. Why would they do that? Okay, it sounds kind of like, who is producing on this one, dude?
Eddie Kramer.
Yep.
Engineered by Eddie Kramer, and I think we lost our friend Marino.
Well, the mastering, you mean?
Yes.
Well, he probably mastered it anyways, dude.
Oh no, it was Sterling Sound, so it must have been him. His name is just not on it, so yeah.
He was the guy. But so there you go, 2 in a row, right? For Kramer.
Yeah.
And they both sound a lot alike. They both rock pretty damn hard, dude. What did you say? I Stole Your Love, right? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's on there, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that song is great, dude. That's a good one.
The drums are impressive. The beginning, all of it is very, very good, dude. And again, this is a super strong album. It's definitely it's got to be a favorite. I mean,
that's a Paul Stanley song. Plus, Love Gun is too, dude. He was kind of hitting a real stride here, man.
Could you pick one? Could you pick your all time on this one?
I Stole Your Love, dude.
I'm going with Plastercaster, dude.
Really? That's shocking, dude. Wow.
I played it so much knowing absolutely nothing about the lyrical content of it whatsoever. It didn't click at all what it was about.
Of course it didn't. Right.
Not at all, dude. And again, I do love I Stole Your Love, and these are all classic, but for some reason, if I was to have an album in front of me right now, I would automatically go to Plastercaster first.
Wow.
And then come back to Den in it,
Yeah.
There's something about that, man. It's just also I'm a drummer. I love the bop on it.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I've always loved drum forward songs or songs that have at least a groovy tempo to it. That's a little up.
Yeah, I kind of dig bass forward songs too, so I know what you're talking about, man. Yeah, I Stole Your Love, dude, and Love Gun. Those are straight up probably the best, in my opinion, the best songs on the album, dude. And as far as just sheer songwriting, strong fucking album though, dude. I love those two songs a lot, man.
I'm almost human.
That's almost like God of Thunder Part 2.
Yeah, dude. It's and that's another. It's very funky, dude. Like, there's a lot of hidden funk in that band, dude. They don't really want to talk about how funky they were, but dude, there's a lot of.
Actually, I always thought,
especially the way he moves.
Like you said in the other episode, the first episode, he's shaking his dong in your face, dude.
Always.
The whole time.
The whole entire time. Yeah. I saw the bottom of his boots a lot, man. Because like I said, my brother, somehow we got front row, first and second seat, man.
Wow.
I think he got the aisle, but yeah, we were dead center, dude. And man, I don't know, man, that I can't even imagine going to like the Alive 2 show front row, even though they probably would have been places where they were a little bit pulled back because they always kind of seemed like they were 50 feet in the air whenever they played. But yeah, man, this album, man, it's another one of those vibe albums. I feel like it feels like the 70s, just kind of like Destroyer does to me.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It's so iconic too. Also, it's Ace's first lead vocal.
You're right. After the Florida incident, walking down the stairs, man, and catching that shock, dude.
Shocked me, and what a great vocal debut by Ace. I mean, he's not Pavarotti, right? But
hey, it was Pavarotti.
Kind of cool that he had his own kind of vocal personality, and he finally, the world finally got to hear what it, what it was. It's kind of cool. He finally got the nerve up.
Yeah, and again, I'm happy they did that. They probably could have given him a lot more opportunity, but I think maybe they looked at the song overall and was like, it's not only cool, there's a meaning behind it, and who knows, maybe they were laughing at him or like, fuck it, let's put the song on the album. He shocked himself like an idiot, that's probably what they're thinking.
They had been after him for quite a few years, man, to sing. I mean, take a lead vocal, and he was just too shy and gun shy about it. So I guess they finally talked him into it. But great one to start off with him as pretty.
He's
cool.
Back in the Miami groove. I love Christine 16 too. The piano's in that one too, man. Like they found some weird things in this groove of 76 to 77 that I am absolutely in love with, and they just never did it again.
I'm not saying this in any kind of a bad, negative way, but Christine 16 is kind of a candy pop. You know what I mean?
It sort of is, yeah. I think
you candy pop song.
If you strip it down, you could have given it to Sean Cassidy or Leif Garrett, and
totally, man. Gene's the only thing that makes it perverse. Because it's definitely not the music's kind of cool, classic, easy, almost not easy listening, but it's just Head rock and roll, almost like 50s rock and roll. You know,
I don't usually say things like this to girls your age. Bullshit. We've got evidence that you do, Gene.
This picture made both episodes now.
Yeah. You're right, 100%. He's not gonna live it down, and he doesn't want to. That's just the way Gene was. But yeah, dude, Love Guns is maybe pinnacle, man, and maybe a peak for them. If I'm being honest, I don't know that they got any higher. Yeah,
they were at their peak, complete peak, in following this album, this tour. 70s.
Yeah.
There was there was a lot of internal strife and cracks, man, but we didn't. They were brilliant at keeping that out of the. There's no internet at the time, and
right, or even press. There was just people were too busy. There was 15 other things you were going to put in your newspaper about Kiss,
right,
before you were going to dig about any sort of strife. And big deal. Rock stars partied back then. That's not news. Maybe if you get arrested or you OD, that's news, but not for long.
I mean, they definitely weren't well as a unit at this time. But yeah, I mean, not just them. You didn't know that about any of the bands. There's, you read articles that were 3 months old by the time you got your hands on them. And
that's the truth.
Like you said, they were talking bands up in the 70s, not trying to pull them down.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see some of the pictures from this tour. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's check this out. Let's go back of the time machine and check out 1977.
And we get the new outfits as well here. 77 outfits.
Largo! You wanted the best, and you got the best. The hottest band in the world, Kiss!
Sammy the Serpent.
Yeah. Get those staircases, man.
Fucking lights. It's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Look at the fog, dude.
It's so good, man.
The fog on the stage.
I remember the day that was there. I needed someone, you needed someone.
About that delay on this vocal.
Taking all you could get, giving yourself the world that you never could.
How about that mad delay on his vocals, dude?
Wow, and instead of being careful with it, fuck it, he just yells in the mic, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, what I love the album that we're about to discuss so much that this is just sort of like this time frame.
Look at that.
God,
dude. The Love Gun outfits were killer, dude. They're
they
killer.
really were.
Yes, man. Damn.
Yeah, that
That reminded me of the inside, what do you call it? The center of Alive 2 that you were just showing.
he's got a headband on right there, I think.
Huh.
Oh no, it's probably just his hair.
Yeah, probably so. Wow.
And here are like some of the most like the iconic pictures that we know and love.
There you go. That's the Love Gun, tour. Yeah, they're killing it, dude. They're right there, dude.
That's the stride, man.
Yep.
Sammy
the Serpent. And I was hook, line, and sinker, dude. In '77. Again, I was 10 years old in '77. So I thought maybe there was like 3 bands in the world, and they were one of them, dude. And I wasn't interested in the other 2.
What's funny is Gene and Paul probably thought the same thing.
There aren't any other bands now, are there, Paul? Yeah.
Let's move on to the pinnacle here. Kiss Alive 2.
Nice, dude.
So when I think when I say this album to somebody when they say, "Hey, so what's the album that introduced you to Kiss, or what's your favorite Kiss album? What's your favorite?" I always say Kiss Alive 2. I never say Alive 2. It's always Kiss Alive 2 for some reason, and I think maybe it just got burnt in my head because of the cover. It's actually on Kiss's name is on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just. I always say Kiss Alive 2. I don't go around it.
Yeah. No, that's it. It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that gatefold is insane, dude.
And let me ask you something. I've actually got. I think I have the picture here. If I didn't, let me see if I. Okay, so here's. Let's pop up the gatefold real quick, and then I'll throw the comparison up there because. Okay, so there we go. Mm-hmm. So kids, when you purchased these vinyl records back in the days, if there were two of them, well, they can't just put them in the same sleeve because they'd rub up against each other and scratch. So they put them on two sides of it. And then as you opened up the record, there was an opportunity for you to see a picture enlarged in front of you. And this right here is one of the most memorable pictures. I don't even know if I thought that was a blanket or a drape coming off of the risers. Yeah. I honestly thought that he stayed up on that the whole entire time. Because obviously that's what they want you to believe. But this is something interesting I found on the interwebs, and I want to know what you have to say about it. So this right here. So I am told that the top is the original photo from this, and that the bottom is actually a doctored version of that album cover that they. Now I don't necessarily believe it. Because I know that they blew every single bit of their pyrotechnics off at the same exact time for that shot. I just don't know whether the bottom and top is. Now, I haven't really found a lot of stuff on the net to say otherwise, but a couple articles I've read lead me to believe that this was a doctored photograph. But
I don't know either the answer to that, but I would lean to believing that because look at those fire columns on the bottom that you actually got in the release of Kiss Alive 2. They're just perfect, dude.
Not only perfect, the explosions or the cloud portions of them look dangerously close to them. And if you look at the top picture compared to the bottom, while they're all posed differently.
Yeah.
So it could have been sort of a sequence where right at the very beginning is the top, and then when the final explosion happens, that's when they get to that pose. So I don't know. I thought it was maybe.
I would have to believe it, dude, because like you said, just this from the sheer heat alone, the one on the bottom that's in question, the official one, right?
Yes.
That's just a little too close for comfort. I believed it. Like I said, hook, line, and sinker, dude. That's what they. That's the Kiss concert in '77 that I was looking at every day in my bedroom. Now
wishing I was there.
Yeah, with you saying that now though about the pyro, that totally makes sense now, dude. Because that's just too perfect a photo, really. And like you said, that ball on top of those fire columns are just going to be way too hot, dude, for them.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy. Mark Ruiz, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. It's been a long time.
Mark.
I know. Is that crazy or what? But yeah, man, I from there on out, it's like, look, if you were to just given me a few albums from Kiss, I would have been a fan. But that album, forget it, man.
Yep.
Forget about it.
It wrecked me, dude. It completely wrecked me. And I was never the same after that.
They fucking had me, man. They had me hardcore, dude.
Absolutely. And the crowd noise on Kiss Alive 2 is even more extreme than the crowd noise on Alive. It's way over the top, the energy on Kiss Alive 2. It's crazy, dude. It's like deafening between the tracks, It's hilarious.
Holy shit, man. Let's see some more footage, man. It's such a great time. I wasn't able to go to this tour, so I need to time travel here.
What was I?
This is Alive 2, the Lost Tokyo concert from 1977.
Wow. This is for Mark right here. Huh? Some little drums.
You really like my level C. You like the way the wheels roll. You like my 70s flavor heel. And only tell all of the show.
Right on, dude. Sounds actually not half bad considering when it was recorded. Yeah, exactly.
You did this fucking calisthenics thing for like, dude, for years, dude. And I remember watching he was either doing or it was like back and forth, dude, on like the Houston show that everyone saw a million times. Like,
That's great, dude.
it's good shit. Fucking Gene, dude. I love him to death, man.
God, the energy was insane on fucking Kiss Alive 2. I think that's what wrecked us, and it wrecked me, dude. For life,
You're right.
You know. I had a little small story real quick.
Yeah, bring it.
I had mentioned on the first episode about purchasing as like my first album, Kiss Alive 2, right? So I get home with it, and you know, I knew this. I didn't have a turntable in my room, right? Even though I just bought Kiss Alive 2, I'm staring at it, you know. So I have to go into this deal with my older sister. She's like, you can only use it when I'm not in my room. You have to use headphones. And when I come back, you have to leave. You know, basically my older sister, right? Those are the rules of the room, the other bedroom. So she's got her record player up on a chest of drawer. So plug in the cans, the giant 70s cost cans, crank it up as you would. And it blew my mind even more, dude. Because it was so fucking loud and it was right there. And I told another buddy about this, but on another podcast. But it, you know, then we should come in and I'd have to take it off and put it back in and go back to my room and just continue staring at it. You know,
Right.
And desperate. You know, when's the next time I can, you know, keep listening to this? So I was probably 12, and it like when I say it wrecked me, it really did, because again, I'm using these giant headphones, dude, and I'm looking at not just the inside, you know, the gatefold, but the back where Gene's all covered in blood, and it was just overload, dude. It was way too much for the senses of a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, and if you were into horror of any kind or any of that shit, the imagery, dude, it was just, dude, it's just fucking cool, man, and it's so beautiful, dude. Like every color of the fucking rainbow is represented, and then you've got the dark black and white and the green on Pete. Like it's just, you know, and I don't even care that they added blood to this later on, and it doesn't make a difference to me, dude. You know, it doesn't make a fucking bit of difference. Like that the set list is like a dream set list for a Kiss album.
The production, the live production end of Kiss Alive 2 seems to be even more shrouded in more mystery than Alive, as far as how it was produced. Don't hear about Alive 2 all that much. You know, we know how all these years later how Alive kind of came to be in the studio, you know, with the live drum tracks from Alive, but
right.
75, but again, the Alive 2 is kind of shrouded, where, you know, I wonder what really went on, because is Pete still at the top of his game by 77? You know, I don't know, you know, but how did they pull this off? You know, I'd really like to know more about the production of the live section of the album, which is 3/4 of it, right?
Yeah.
Not sure how much is out there regarding that.
And I can't really say with much confidence that when I was young that I even knew that fourth side was a studio situation. I think just listening to the crowd noise for the first three sides, I think I might have put it in my head for those tracks at the end. It was just sort of like I played it in there, yeah, or maybe it was just where I kind of heard crowd. But
you're like, man, the crowd's real quiet on side 4.
But dude, it just, I mean, fucking those songs on the fourth side are awesome. Every last one of them. Larger Than Life is probably one of my favorite, but you know what? All American Man is by far one of my favorite all-time Kiss songs.
That's another great Paul song. Great vocal performance from Paul.
Dude.
Dude, how about Rocket Ride, man?
I know. It's so good, man. Look at this set list, man. Detroit, King of the Nighttime World, Meet Ya, Greet Ya in the Ladies' Room. I mean, dude, these songs this is heavy hitter stuff right here.
Making Love, dude. Love Gun. All of them, dude. I mean, yeah, this is, it's off the charts with energy too. It crackles with energy.
It really does, dude. Even Tomorrow Tonight, and then flipping that record over to the second or the third side, and then gang, I Stole Your Love starts off. They take you through this little journey, man, and that fourth side is just icing on the cake, man. Like I will play. I think I play that side as much as I've played any of the other sides on those. Or for people who don't own records, not sides, but those tracks.
I want to flip back over to side 3 for a second. How about that impromptu vocal thing with the audience on the end of that Paul does on the end of I Want You?
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, you have the little drum accents every time he says something. It's so cool, dude.
It really is, man. They had it. They had it right, man. And I think all the experiences that you see between a band on stage intimately and the crowd at the time, most of that stuff is formed because of Paul and Gene and the way that they did that back in the days. I'm not saying they created this, but they brought it to the forefront, and they let you know, if you're going to be in a band from here on out, you not only have to play good, you have to do what we do. You have to at least bring what Kiss brings, which is the showmanship and Paul or Paul talking like he was born in New Orleans in a swamp in 1942 or something. Like, it's just like there's these personas that they had
preaching rock and roll, dude.
That might be it, man. You think
he's preaching the gospel, dude?
The gospel according to Paul.
But I even liked, which is strange, I guess, but I don't know how you feel about it. Any Way You Want It on that side 4 studio cover.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
5 song, right? It's all right.
That's all what I thought about it.
It's all right.
That's the way it will be.
It's a strange choice. I guess they were Dave Clark fans, dude. I'm pretty sure they were or are. I was going to say it's a strange song to select to do, but I guess if Dave Clark's a 5 fan, then it's not so strange,
It's the backbone of their music, man. Very simplistic, straightforward, 50s, 60s, rock and roll, dude.
And I didn't think at that age, I thought this was just another Kiss song, I didn't even think of them playing covers at the time,
Yeah. And even if so, they were covers that had not been played for a long time, and it's certainly not anything, that would stand out in your head. Like, oh, I remember hearing that in the summer of '57. Why are these kids in '78 doing it?
Well, nobody really was. I mean, unless you were a lot older at the time,
right?
Judas Priest was playing Diamonds and Rust from Joan Baez at the time.
Wow.
So there's that too.
There's that.
All over the place. So, yeah, this album just blows up. It's almost like buying an explosion when you're 12 years old and taking it in a package.
And you get to hear it over and over again. The fuse always lights. It always blows up when you want it to.
Yep, you blow it up over every day, dude.
Yeah, I can't say enough. I don't know that I can find if. As we both said, I'm in love with this version of Calling Dr. Love. It's the first version of Calling Dr. It's the first version of all these fucking songs I ever heard. What's amazing to me about it is the songs off of Love Gun and even and Destroyer, obviously, but even Rock and Roll Over and things that made it on here. They translate well. When I went back, when I heard them, it wasn't like a subtraction other than like crowd noise and stuff.
Right.
They managed to they took the energy and just jumped it a little bit higher on the concert, obviously. But
exactly,
they're just good versions.
They're a lot heavier and louder and faster. And most everything is on live albums. It's not just Kiss. That's across the board almost. But Calling Dr. Love's much heavier sounding. And then, as I was saying earlier, Christine 16 for such a candy kind of pop song. It kind of sounded like on record. It's actually heavier too. You know, I don't know how you can make a song like that heavier, but they did. You know?
Yeah, it is very heavy. You're right.
No piano on the live version. It's just gong 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 gong. Yeah. So and Making Love, dude, all that stuff on that album is on a live too. Is just cranking.
Man, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Can you try and pull a favorite off of that one? Let's go. Album one. What's your favorite on album one?
Damn, dude, that's hard. I gotta say, King of the Nighttime World.
I'm going with Shock Me on this one, man.
Oh, I thought you meant side one.
Oh no, like the first album. Yeah, the first album. So
choices now, Bob.
Let's go through 1 through 10 on the left side here.
Oh, you know what? I still gotta say, hey man, Making Love though, dude. Damn.
Whoa.
I gotta say it's a tie between King of the Nighttime World and Making Love, dude.
Yeah, I'll go with Calling Dr. Love and Shock Me for that first side. We're definitely if grooves were able to get bigger, I would have driven a cavern into that record just from those two tracks.
Nice.
How about, and we can let's take out the studio side from the second side album, and let's go with 1 through 5. Which one do you like there the most?
I Stole Your Love, dude.
All day long, dude. No
Yep.
question. Because if you weren't blown away from the first and second side, yeah, you throw that other one, and it's just like kank, like oh my god, dude. Yeah, and then they just
Beth is the very next track. Then you have the like super evil version of God of Thunder.
Grrr. It is very slow and deep.
Let me ask you a question, man. What does he scream during the drum solo?
Oh shit.
It's almost like I don't know. I could never make that out, dude.
That's a great question, man. I don't know, man. I would have met. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, I always tried to figure out what he was saying there, dude, and it's kind of in the distance, like almost like he's way back from the mic and he's screaming, right, as he's like puking, or spitting blood. So, and somebody says it has something to do with Peter Criss, like Peter Criss or Chris on the drums or something like that, but I could never hear it, really.
That's crazy, dude.
What he's saying there.
And why they didn't, if they weren't going to make it clear, why didn't they just like take it off of the recording or try and find a way to mute it? But yeah, that's crazy, man.
You know what else is really cool about this album, dude? And nobody ever really talks about it, but the explosions or the not the actual, but not the explosions themselves, but the sound of them,
Right.
Well, they come in on songs sometimes, like on the beginnings of songs, like at the beginning of the verse or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Completely on beat, dude.
Right.
on time, and that's amazing. I think they did that obviously in post, dude. Post.
I Stole Your Love is probably the one I think that we, because of how
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they had to do all that in post production, dude. I mean,
yes.
Come on, Dan. They're just so perfect, dude. All the concussion bombs. That's what I was trying to say.
Or they had like the greatest pyro team in the world, which could easily be the case as well. So
they probably had a spoon up their nose though at the time. So maybe they weren't the greatest pyro team at the time. Who knows? But we can speculate, right? But I think a lot of things were done to our live too in the studio. That's
for sure.
That's the point I'm trying to make. But
and so what songs on the fourth side here? And I don't think we don't have to pick one. I probably will take. Jesus, I don't know, man. That's too. All American Man's probably my favorite, but Rocket Ride's ridiculous. Larger Than Life is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Which songs on here do you remember where Ace or Peter was not present?
Dude, at that age in time, I thought that's Ace Frehley and Peter Criss playing on side 4. I didn't know any better, and nobody ever told me any different either. I mean, people weren't talking about that stuff for several more years.
Yeah,
at least.
Like it didn't matter.
Yeah, and they had us fooled, and they had us fooled good. You know, I don't think you couldn't get away with all that nowadays. You know,
Was it Bob Kulick and Anton on this one, or who were the musicians?
There's also, I've heard Rick Derringer's on one of those tracks.
There you go.
Bob Kulick, Anton Fig, and who knows who else is on there.
They were probably like, let's talk to those Steely Dan fellas and see what kind of session players they have. Borrow.
It wouldn't shock me if it shocked me. It wouldn't shock me if Gene's not even playing the bass on All American Man and vice versa, dude. You know, I mean, I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying it wouldn't in this day and age. It wouldn't. Knowing what I know now, it wouldn't shock me that Paul's not putting together All American Man by himself, dude. You know,
right? Yeah, that's true, man. And the way that they made, because it's hard to have a signature sound as a drummer. If you go into a studio, you can make the drummer sound like the Last Drummer if you had to, in terms of sound. Maybe not playing tempo or anything like that.
His own unique, you know.
But for someone to be able to get away with copying the style that Ace has was pretty remarkable. And I think I saw a couple of interviews where Bob explains how he does that.
Well, he did that very well on Sweet Pain too.
Yeah.
So he nailed it. He sounded like Ace Frehley to me, man. Especially when I was a kid, you know.
Right.
But dude, let's go back. Well, I can't stop thinking about the explosions in the crowd chanting "We want Kiss" on the end of "Shout It Out Loud," dude. That was immense in '77.
It's like I will mow every lawn in the neighborhood to be able to afford the $12 ticket to go see this.
Yeah, dude, it was probably $8, dude, at that time. You know.
I mean, just I don't know, man. I know these are posed photos, but I mean, there's just from the costumes to the way they were playing, everything was at the top of the game at this point. Yeah. And you know, we will next week we will focus on obviously 78 and going forward a little bit. So we'll touch on the solo albums for a little bit, but we won't really touch too hard on them. But it's definitely, like you said, it's the peak of the popularity, of the explosion of marketing everything. But then it very quickly signals a sort of demise of the band, obviously, as we start heading into the solo albums, because the solo albums were, for all intents and purposes, the nail in the coffin, I think, for the love that the original four had for each other. Maybe not musically, but
I think it was starting here on a live,
for sure,
on the Love Gun tour, and it didn't get any better, obviously. So, but you know, that's what's going to happen, I guess, sometimes. But yeah, Live 2 is really the as far as, you know, Love Gun for studio albums, but Live 2 to me kind of marks a close in the second chapter, or you know, the second half of the 70s for them.
Yeah.
Everything else was kind of spreading fairy dust on everything to keep everybody fooled for a couple more years. You know, really.
They got crash coursed in the rock and roll business very fast. Became an absolute juggernaut. And just ripped the earth apart for like 5 years. And it doesn't seem like it a long time, but dude, those 5 years must feel like 50, if I'm being honest, when you know, if you think about it, between the touring and
just the impact, the live impact, the spectacle from the Love Gun tour it impacted the music industry for decades, dude. The way live bands were, you know, putting productions on, live productions, it influenced a lot of things to come. Yeah.
You can see it, and obviously a lot of Ozzy stuff, a lot of Dio solo stuff.
Everybody
just having something in the background that adds to the theme of what you're doing was amazing. And again, after you become awesome like Kiss was, go ahead.
I'm sorry. It taught everybody else that you have to up the game, you know. After seeing that shit, everybody had to up their game, dude, to a certain extent, one way or another. You
give them their $12 worth, man. That's a hard-earned $12.
I haven't seen a show that cool for $200 now these days, right?
Oh my god, dude! Like, hey, I know my brother at least paid $250, $300 a piece for those front row shows for that front row show, and that definitely wasn't what. Looking back, it wasn't what I expected it to be. It was everything I wanted it to be for the time. Because I really, honestly, unless you're, 20 rows back, the pyro doesn't really affect you anyway, other than feeling it. I would rather be far back during a live too, if I'm being honest, to be able to see everything.
Yeah.
But being front row, you kind of lose a lot of that spectacle, and then Paul flies over your ass.
When you said that about seeing them in Miami, about it being looking smaller than you had the picture in your head since you were a kid, you've seen videos. I think the Love Gun set or the Alive 2 set was probably a smaller than we thought it was at the time as well, dude.
Yeah.
But it's still nevertheless, it was like you said, it was groundbreaking.
It's their bar, dude. They set it high.
Yeah, they did. They might have set it too high for themselves.
They did in a couple of ways, for sure. They did. Obviously, we saw it down the road in some of the late iterations of the band. But yeah, man, this time frame, 76, 77 is for me definitely the greatest part of this. It's the heyday for Kiss. It's when you start seeing, we know this now. There's less love in the band at this time. But there's still a great amount of love for the product that they're putting out, and that's really all that matters. We know now that Ace and Peter weren't part of that fourth side, and other than Rocket Ride, yeah, which is still another groundbreaking tune.
Something you were saying though, Gene Simmons has actually, I've heard him say that's Peter Criss on Larger Than Life. Even though he says that to this day, I still don't believe it, really. I honestly don't. I mean, it sounds kind of like his style, but man, dude, he never got production. I mean, yes, it's production. It's not, there's a lot of things you can do in the studio, but man, they're so huge sounding, man.
Yeah, I don't think that it matters.
No, in the end, it doesn't really.
Because there's nothing that Peter did that was so astounding. That I was like, oh, that has to be Peter playing right there. It's almost like if it's too advanced, it's not Peter.
Exactly.
If there's too many rolls, if there's a lot of accents happening, if there's ghost notes, for God's sake, that's definitely probably not Peter. Although I think there's some ghost notes I think he did in a couple songs, but he wasn't a fan of it. He didn't practice it a lot. But
you're right. He wasn't it wasn't John Bonham or Neil Peart, obviously, far from it.
But he was definitely what they needed. He was the time guy, and he was really good at keeping time, dude.
And just enough swing to make them swing, and he was actually pretty solid, dude, in the first 3 or 4 tours. I mean, real solid. A drummer. I think, like you said, cracks started showing in all of them. Mainly Peter and Ace, but even playing wise.
I'll share with the audience and you my very first Ace Frehley Rocket Ride experience. Take a rocket ride.
You didn't film that, did you?
I did film that.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, cool. Actually,
I
like that version better than the one I saw online yesterday. I think it was
the Space Invader tour, because I saw him 2 years in a row at the same very, very tiny little. It's a little theater, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it was amazing to hear that song live and to see the crowd blow up. This is Ace Frehley with his band. It's not Kiss, obviously, but dude, years and decades down the road, man, we're still in love with this guy. We're still in love with this band. And for all the stuff that you and I talk about, because for those who don't know, Stony and I have a huge love-hate relationship with I don't even know, hate, a love and disdain a little bit for the tactic Gene has sometimes, and just kind of the way he is. And we talk about him all the time, like, oh, that's a real fucking Gene thing to do. And he's become a way to describe a situation. But, without Gene and Paul during this very crucial time, not being party animals, not being monsters of overindulgence other than probably sex. They are the anchor of this band, and they definitely proved they can move on and not rely on them.
In fact, you're probably not even giving them. If it weren't for Gene and Paul, the Kiss would have crashed and burned around 76, maybe. Well,
let me ask you this: that may be true. Do you think if they would have maybe, and I don't really know what the money thing is, but if they would have given Paul and Ace maybe a couple more songs on some albums, do you think it would have lengthened their relationship further? Or do you think no matter what, this is what was going to probably happen to the band, and it did happen the way it was supposed to happen?
I think it may have placated them a little bit, but no, dude, those guys, that's their personality. Leopards don't change spots, and that's you weren't changing Ace and Peter. Just like people don't change really, I think they were going to be self-destructive, whether they got an extra track on every album or not. Really, that's just me. That's my opinion.
And I think Peter, being the older guy, having played with Krupa and these guys, just being sort of an elder statesman of drumming. I think he came into the band saying, "Oh, this is cool. I think I like it." No one thought they would be as big as they were, but I don't think that he was prepared physically for the wear and tear on his arms and his body, in addition to being fucking hammered or just completely tweaked out on coke or whatever the case was, man. Like that was already too much for him at the time. So I think knowing back then, I think Ace probably could have stayed longer, but he was the talent in that band in terms of the guitar and the leads and stuff like that. Obviously, Gene and Paul were amazing, but the other talent was Ace.
No, when we said when I said that a while ago, I think they would have crashed and burnt. I just mean, their natural tendency to party and be rock guys. But Ace is playing, man. He's kind of the ace, the ace up the sleeve or the ace in the hole for Kiss all those years. He really lent them street cred. Peter had street cred just because he had street cred kind of thing. A rock and roll kind of wild guy too. But Ace's playing actually lent them a lot of musical credibility. And without him as well, and you know what? It's the whole thing. It's the whole mixture, man. You change one and maybe, we would have seen a completely different Kiss probably in the 70s and on.
This is definitely the street cred he gave us.
And there you go. Not drum in sight, but plenty of street cred.
Hey, can I take a picture with me holding a fucking knife? Is that all right? Yeah, you're good, man. Go ahead and do that. We're good. That's what I mean. It's just the rawness of it. And we can't forget the New York about this band.
Absolutely.
The attitude of the city, and the times and they were kind of soft-spoken people. I wouldn't venture to say Paul and Gene were tough guys. I think for the most part they probably weren't. They were more smart than they were tough. But that was a tough fucking place, man, to be able to do what they did. And obviously Twisted Sister and some of these bands to come out and look completely left field compared to what they have seen, and then actually still become what they became is amazing. And it has everything to do with that New York attitude. And that's what it all stemmed from. Some ways polished here and there, but yeah.
That old adage, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, was probably true. They
are huge in Japan.
everywhere else they went, at least in the United States, the continental United States, they weren't going to be intimidated by what, Fort Worth or Phoenix or, you're look at where they're from, dude. So I think it helped them, their attitude a lot from the very beginning. I mean, it's probably all New York bands to a certain extent, or LA bands or what have you,
Yeah, that's the truth. And they definitely had a lot of attitude in the way they held themselves. And it's funny to see the evolution of their interviews over the years, how it was, they wanted Gene to be which is the reason why Gene was on the Mike Douglas shows. Cause they were like, we got to have somebody to talk to. And
no one else.
Right. He was so well spoken that he had to go out there and dumb himself down for the audience. in order to be what he wanted them to perceive him as, with that some of your audience's necks look really delicious, necks and cheeks, or he says something weird like, their necks and cheeks look delicious.
He actually hadn't really found his true character yet either.
Not at all, dude. He didn't know what to say. Like, what planet are you from? He would just be like, I'm from Brooklyn.
Let us play our song now. And he actually looks uncomfortable on Mike Douglas, dude.
Completely.
Sure.
Toady calls him out, dude. You can't hide the hook, and he's all, you should only know. Like,
so bad, Toady Fields. Great, dude.
Holy shit. Well, you know what, man? That's 76 to 77. Is there anything you want to shoot out before we take off out of here? Any notes you want to talk about, or anything we didn't talk about?
I'm sure I will remember that after the fact, but
yes,
a lot of fun, man. Talking about Kiss, 70s Kiss in particular, never gets old. So yes, there's going to be some things after we hang up, so to speak, that I'm going to go, damn, how can I not bring that up? But no, I've enjoyed it, man. So just as much as 1.0 the other day,
Oh yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with myself and Stony. Next week, we're going to take it further through the last part of the makeup years, if you will, sort of where my intense fandom for Kiss stops.
Same as well, yeah.
From there on out, I just kept talking about how awesome it was when they had their makeup on, but there's a lot of pretty killer stuff to talk about still on some albums that weren't really loved by the Kiss community. But thank you for everyone who to everyone who came and hung out with us. Bobby, Simon, Mark, our friend Mark from the Drifter days. Obviously, thanks for coming and hanging out, dude. That was really awesome. I knew we'd get you out, and Kiss is definitely the way to do it. J Mac and Andrew, Bobby, everybody that came out to listen to us ramble on. Brian Smith. All you guys who came and listened to us, I truly appreciate it. Stoney appreciates it. We appreciate it at TCSP. And like I said, we're going to come back next week and talk about some of the later albums. So, until then, guys, keep rocking. We'll see you soon.
Kiss loves you.
Thank you, Simon.